الله يملا يهو باش ميا شعب عشان فقداش طبعا صفات الأصغر most of citation hopeful that shalom. And I made titles lesson testosterone levels in American men have declined. And let me see. This is a study that shows from October 2nd, 2023. It's a 4-minute read article. And it says generational decline in testosterone levels observed. Trend does not seem to be attributable to health and lifestyle changes. And it says during the past 2 decades, testosterone levels in American men have rapidly declined. This information comes from a long-term perspective study that evaluated changes in serum testosterone on a population-wide basis. The study was published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism. And quote, the interesting thing we discovered was that on average, when we measured the testosterone in the blood of a 60-year-old man in 1989, it was higher than that in a different 60-year-old measured in 1995, said Thomas Travison, PhD of New England Research Institute, Watertown, Mass. And quote, we observed the same phenomenon over a wide range of ages. Although testosterone loss is common as men age, it is often associated with diabetes, abdominal obesity, sexual dysfunction, depression, and other adverse conditions. The Massachusetts male agent study was composed of randomly selected men aged 45 to 79 living in the Boston area. The men were initially sampled between 1987 and 1989. There were 2 follow-up periods, 1995 to 1997, and 2002-2004. There were 2,769 total observations from 1,532 men. The age-matched study was conducted to measure participants at different times and generations according to Travison. In each wave, the researchers took blood samples and conducted extensive interviews. Travison said participants were asked about demographic and lifestyle characteristics, self-assessed general health, smoking and alcohol habits, BMI, waist to hip ratio, physical activity, and other factors. Age to independent decline. At baseline, median serum testosterone level was 501 ng/d. At the first follow-up, it was 435 ng/dl, and at the second follow-up, it was 391 ng/dl. The estimated cross-sectional decline in total testosterone level was 0.4% per year of age. The longitudinal within personal decline about 1.6% per year. The age-matched time trend was 1.2% lower per year. The decline was age to independent. It is a little troubling, Travis said. And quote, the average differences are not very large, but they are very big enough and occurring over a short enough time period to be the cause of some concern. These demonstrated population level declines are greater than the cross-sectional decline typically associated with age, according to the researchers. And what is causing it? The researchers concluded that the decline in testosterone does not appear to be attributable to observed changes in explanatory factors, including health and lifestyle changes such as smoking and obesity. These factors are potentially explanations both because they are associated with testosterone levels and also because they have changed across generations, Travis said. For instance, there were increases in obesity and medication use, but a decrease in smoking. By the last phase of the study, the researchers found that 719, in other words, 52% of the participants reported at least one chronic illness. 340, 25% were smokers. 296, 22% were obese, BMI greater than 30, and 322% reported using at least 3 prescription medication. The researchers wondered whether these factors are contributing to the generational decline. And quote, we know that people in all age groups are heavier today than they used to be. Similarly, they're talking a lot more medication, which has an influence on endocrine health, and they are smoking a lot less, which is good. Smoking is associated with higher testosterone levels. If you stop smoking, that can bring levels down, Travis said. Thus far, however, it does not appear that these factors can explain the decline in testosterone, Travis said. And let me see. It says this population level decline in testosterone concentrations in men is not explained fully by the usual suspects: decrease in BMI and prevalence of obesity, certain other comorbid conditions, or decrease in incidence of smoking, although the analysis by Travis and et al. Did reveal significant age-related increases in adiposity and medication use and a welcome decline in smoking. The age-matched decline in testosterone concentrations persisted even after adjusted for these variables. Yasharahla Basson, MD of the Section of Endocrinology, Diabetes and Nutrition, Boston University School of Medicine, wrote in an accompanying editorial. He voiced concern over the decline and its public health impact on American men. This magnitude of change during such a short period is disquieting, Basson wrote. Although increase in adiposity and lifestyle factors were recorded in the Massachusetts male aging study, cannot account for the secular trends in testosterone level. It is possible that other lifestyle factors such as decreasing use of tight-fitting underwear, increasing room temperatures in American homes and offices during the past 3 decades, decreased physical activity with increased body mass indices, and decreased smoking could have contributed to declining testosterone levels in men. There are several limitations of this study, including a small age-matched trend and limited geographic region surveyed, but the researchers said these data should not be ignored. But one thing I want to say from outside the article, decreased smoking is not leading to a decline in testosterone. In fact, studies could show that smoking is what declines your testosterone. And in this article right here, it says, why do Gen Z and millennial men have lower testosterone levels? Odds are your granddad had higher testosterone levels than you, but why? And it shows by author Dr. Joshua Smith, research scientist, MBBS, B MedSci, and PG Cert MedEd. Reviewed by Dr. Sam Rogers, Chief Medical Officer, MBBS, MRC, GP, updated on January 10th, 2024. So this is pretty much recent updates on this article. And I'm not gonna lie, this guy looked like a faggot himself. Looked like he got low testosterone. Anywho, that's an Edomite for you. Let's get to the point right here. So it says, for decades, testosterone levels have been declining. Your granddad may not have been quite as swift with Excel, but he probably one up you where T levels are concerned. It's normal for testosterone levels to decline as you get older, but for some reason, there's been a population level drop with each generation, at least since the 70s, 1 to 4. This means, on average, Gen Zers and millennials have significantly lower testosterone levels compared to their predecessors. But what is it about younger generations that have caused this trend? And it says in this article, we look at the generational decline in testosterone, why testosterone levels falling, how important is testosterone for men, should I be worried in measuring your testosterone levels? But I'm just going to get to the main point. So the generational decline in testosterone says the average testosterone level of a 60-year-old man in 1987 was around 17.5 nmol/L, according to a 2007 study in Massachusetts. Compared that to a 60-year-old man in 2002, his testosterone level was closer to 15 nmol/L. Based on this average, testosterone levels in men are declining by 1% every year, give or take. Research carried out on Finnish and Danish population has shown the same trend, 1,6. And even more recently, a large-scale study of Israeli men has shown how average testosterone levels have dropped between 2006 and 2019 by over 10% across almost every age category. Of course, we can't know for certain that 60-year-old millennials and Gen Zers will have lower testosterone levels, at least not for a few decades, but it's looking very likely. What's concerning is testosterone levels aren't the only problem. Sperm counts are dropping significantly. And some reproductive disorders like testicular cancer are on the rise. Even men's grip strength has declined. So what's going on? Why are testosterone levels falling? This is a complicated question. The truth is, it's not entirely clear, and it's likely coming down to a combination of factors. But the one thing that's clear is pretty much scriptural. I'm going to bring out some scriptures, of course, saying this outside of the article. Now, back to the article. It says, 1, obesity and sedentary lifestyle. Rising rates of obesity also certainly played a role in declining testosterone levels. Being overweight can push the body's hormone axis out of balance and affect how the body responds to insulin, both of which can lower testosterone levels. One study found that an increase in BMI by 4 to 5 points was associated with testosterone level of someone 10 years older. Wow. These days, most of us eat too much and don't move enough. Much of this has been sparked by digital revolution. E-commerce, tech, and entertainment industries have boomed, which makes it easy to prioritize convenience over health. You can now order a Big Mac from your phone to be delivered to your house while you finish binge watching your favorite Netflix series. It's something baby boomers wouldn't have dreamed of, and something Gen Zers can't imagine a world without. The digital age has transformed how we work too. We favor machinery and automation over manual labor, which likely explains a drop in men's grip strength over time. Many jobs are now office-based, and some of us don't even need to leave the house to work. Modern day careers tend to be much less active than our grandfathers, and people who lead sedentary lifestyles to have lower testosterone. But even after taking obesity into account, most studies still show a downward trend in testosterone, which means it can be the only culprit. External toxins. The annual global production of plastics has grown from 50 million to 300 million tons since the 70s. Science is now seeing the connection between this and changes to our hormone health. Many plastics contain the endocrine disrupting chemicals, EDCs. EDCs, as their name suggests, are chemicals that interfere with the body's hormone and may be natural or man-made. Some EDCs are slow to break down and accumulate, which makes them potentially hazardous over time, even in low doses. EDCs are found in everyday products, including plastic bottles, food storage containers, liners of metal food cans, detergents. Research has found links between EDC exposure and effects on attention, immunity, ADHD, immunity, metabolism, puberty, and reproduction. Several EDCs have been associated with lower semen quality and testosterone levels, so there's a possibility they may be partly to blame for this population level decline. And if you were smokers, this might surprise you, but some data shows that smoking marginally increases testosterone levels. Though not all studies agree with this, nicotine is metabolized by the body into cotinine. It's possible this may prevent testosterone breakdown. In the 70s, half of men smoked, but since there has been a significant decrease. Now in the UK, only around 50% of men smoke. This may play a part in falling testosterone levels. Of course it does. But that's not a good reason to light up. Smoking is extremely harmful to many systems in the body, and its dangers massively outweigh any potential effect it may have on testosterone. There may be safe, natural ways to boost your testosterone. Smoking isn't one of them. Stress and mental health problems. Acute stress may cause testosterone levels to spike, but physical and psychological long-term stress is likely to lead to reduced testosterone levels. Some say that as a society we're more stressed than ever before. This one is up for debate. After all, a lot of modern day problems are nothing new. Recessions, political upheavals, and the demands of work and family. One big difference is that we're now constantly plugged in. We have phones in our pockets that ping with news flashes, notifications, watches that buzz when a friend tries to make contact, and headphones that silence the real world around us. Everything is immediate. We just need to press a button and we have access to any information we please. This constant stimulation can make it hard to switch off, and one of the biggest distractors is mobile phones. Most children are phone owners by the age of 7, a report from ChildWise showed, and it comes with implications. Smartphone use been linked to difficulties regulating emotions, impulsivity, addiction to social networking, shyness, low self-esteem, and FOMO, fear of missing out from the physical aspect. It can lead to sleep problems, reduced physical activity, and migraines. Apps like TikTok, Instagram use algorithms to feed us the content we like, which makes it even more difficult to separate ourselves. So, other than that, I don't really want to get too deep into it. I read a lot, I know, but without further ado, I'll bring up some scriptures, Lord willing, makes us less edifying. So, in 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 17, it says, "For look, how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein." So yeah, so like even the world itself has gotten weaker, and of course, if the world gets weaker, the inhabitants of the world will also get weaker as well as a result, because scriptures say how the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. So the evils that's increasing in this world is making this world weaker than already is, and it's because Esau is ruling this earth. And he's a wicked ass devil. So he has it to where you have a mass production of plastic. You got plastic that's mainly being used to cover your food. You got a whole distribution of plastic. Plastic is not even supposed to be used at all by humans. It's not supposed to be worn. It's not supposed to be used to to deal with food and things of that nature, used to store drinks, but this is what this devil Esau does, and that's why it says in America that the testosterone levels have decreased drastically, and it's decreasing rapidly. And the sad thing is, when you find a lot of American men, they're not really considered to be like men, because of the fact that how in this fucking society that pushes for feminism, right, you're gonna have it to where men are gonna try to do as much as possible to keep their woman. So it pretty much it diminishes their value as a man, because now they gotta go as far as trying to keep the woman in their their possession, to the point where it's like these women just they're really wicked and they're messed up, to the point where they have this man going as far as making her happy, doing everything he can to make her happy. And the thing is that she will never be happy, because honestly she was made to make you happy. So that whole happy wife happy life bullshit, that's a shit that comes from the West, man. You see? And she's not gonna really make you happy, because if you over here doing everything you can to make her happy, that's the reason why America gotta go, man. This whole society is really messed up. They push it for monogamous relationship, and that's what naturally decreases a man's testosterone. And you best believe men back in ancient times, they had way high levels of testosterone, because you had men that actually, they actually had knowledge, and they actually, had a lot of wisdom. They actually knew how to deal with women. These men in America, they don't know how to deal with women. They're over here watching porn, just to get their urges off. They're over here men in this country, they're so sex deprived, and on top of it too, a lot of them don't really have wisdom in terms of dealing with women, because once they start dealing with women now, they say love makes you do crazy things, and that's basically what they're gonna do. And the crazy thing about it is that how when it's coming to let's say when you look in the East, those men over there, especially in the Middle Eastern countries, they have a better sense of knowing how to keep their woman in order, as compared to men in the West. And it's to the point where men in the West will try to look down at men in the East for how they pretty much try to keep order in their family, how to try to keep order amongst their women. But the thing is that in the Bible, some of those customs that in the Middle East that they practice was actually customs that our people are supposed to be doing, because in the Bible there was a thing where how you have to pretty much it taught you some sort of let's say some guidelines on how to raise a family, how to deal with women. It teaches you how to basically there's a lot of laws that centered like around like righteousness, in terms of like how a father could sell his daughter to you, things of that nature, how the marriages have to be arranged, so the daughter's not supposed to be picking and choosing what type of man she's with or what type of man she gotta be with, but that's supposed to be the father's decision if he wants to sell you his daughter, but nonetheless, like, what I mean, it's like, other than that, a lot of these men, they don't have no level of wisdom. You have it to where you got guys that seem like they get turned on by buying farts in a jar, or basically buying used up clothing from female celebrities, especially from porn stars. That's the wisdom of this world, coming from America, so to say. That's how that as a nation in America, out of all countries, is the dumbest country of all time. And that's ultimately how that a lot of men pretty much are really weak, because of the fact that how this country pushes for a neo level of feminism. Because I don't think there's any other country other than America where feminism is at its peak, at its highest peak, And at the same time, like what it was saying in the article about how, because of the digital age that we're in, people could do things so quick and everything is convenient, especially like the fast food. Because diet also plays a part in your in your testosterone levels, And then the thing is that we have it to where you can't really talk to people a certain type of way. You can't offend people because they care so much about their damn feelings, And that's pretty much like, a mortal thought. Scriptures tell you that how you gotta cast away, the burden of the man and put off the weak nature, and that's a weak nature, being able to being offended because somebody's basically correcting you, it's just a lot of bullshit in that. And nowadays we got like to where like a lot of men, they don't necessarily know how to think, especially amongst our nation, of our people. You got it to where like scriptures tell you, bring this out because this is mainly talking about our people, but even then it's like the curses are also on the other nations too, So it says in Isaiah chapter 3 verse 12, it says, "For my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule all of it over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy past." So yeah. So when you have it to where women are above men, that's gonna naturally make men weak. And then at the same time, it's like Esau is so fucking wicked as a devil that he is. Not only that he fucks up our food, puts hormonal imbalances in the food that men eat and the food that women eat. You know what I'm saying? Like he also goes as far as trying to put some forgot the name of this chemical that they put in the water, but what it is, it's like it makes the water to the point where there's studies that show that when they call it like, I think, atrazine in the water. Yeah. So basically that pretty much those chemicals increase female hormones and in men when they drink that tap water and things of that nature. So Esau does a lot of, like, let's say, experiments on our people, like, you know what I mean? Because scriptures talk about how he's a cunning hunter, so he pretty much has his eyes set against our people, and he's always scheming and plotting on our people, and that's how that that scripture right there, we talk about how children are oppressors. Going into Job the 30th chapter, Esau's a child, he doesn't have like that a manly like spirit. Scriptures tell you in Habakkuk 2 and 4 that the spirit is not upright in him. And scriptures talk about, believing Isaiah 19, that how he pretty much goes as far as turning everything upside down, so this is the devil Esau for you. And in Jeremiah 31 verse 22, it says, "How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man." So that goes to show you right there that this how the testosterone levels have decreased, because when you have it to where women have surpassed the man and women rule over men, right? And then even then it's like there's another scripture that pretty much goes into talking about how you shouldn't give your strength unto a woman, neither thy ways will destroy, kings, And then when you also look up at First Esdras, chapter 4, going on to verse 25 to 27, how it says, wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father or mother, yet many there be that have run out their wits for women and have become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women. So, you best believe our people, just naturally, just men in general, they're pretty much like so stupid that they run out their wits for women, right? Because being so sex deprived in a society where women pretty much hold the key to sex because of Esau and his, unlawful, ways of how he pushes his wickedness, because according to the biblical law, whatever Esau is doing, is pretty much contrary to the biblical law. So, he's of course like having a society, just basically being led by a whole bunch of manners of wickedness. And then men sin and erring for women, and even dying because of women. Like they pretty much put their woman as their God. They put their woman above them. And that's what makes men weak. And that's why a woman can't respect you when you do those things. I mean, yeah, she may, pretty much like what you're doing and stuff like that, may to some extent give you a little bit of what you want, but not fully what you want, because she wants you to ultimately keep you in that yoke over your neck. Because you see, when a woman opens her legs up to a man and gives him that what's between her legs, of course, he gonna feel like he has some sort of like dominance over her or some shit. So she's not gonna really open him up to that. She's gonna have some men that she's gonna be, pretty much having a yoke over, like, having head over heels for it. And there's gonna be just those very few guys that's gonna be able to hit it with her because, that's how she wants to do it. She's not gonna open herself to every guy. But to some extent, it seems like she's almost doing it to every other guy, because it's like she still has a high fucking body count. But, that's pretty much America for you. And in Proverbs chapter 7, verse 25, it says, let not thine heart decline to her ways, go not astray in her paths, for she hath cast down many wounded, yea, many strong men have been slain by her. Her house is the ways of hell, going down to the chambers of death. So yeah, a lot of men are pretty much like, wounded and slain, like mentally, because they have been deprived of their masculinity, all because of the fact that how they put women as their strength. That's the thing. And that causes like an imbalance, because the order is supposed to be the Most High, then Yasharahla, then the man, and then the woman. She comes the last of line. And you see, nowadays it's like when it's coming to a woman, they want to be the ones to control the household, right? And that's why they say her house is the way to hell and going down to the chambers of death. And her house being, this could also go into like, strange women, the false philosophies, or, but in this case, we're talking about wicked ass woman, so it's twofold. So her house going into being like, brothers could consider the house, as a body for your spirit, you know what I mean? Like, your body that, keeps a house for your spirit. And basically when it's coming to that physical sense of a woman's house, her house is like, actually, like, could talk about her body too. It's the way to hell. When you look at it, like, they have high body counts, multiple men germinating inside them, putting their body fluids on her, and then she's comprised of different men's DNA, basically. It's, at the same time, they don't have like that much of good hygiene or good health. Yeah, they're very filthy. Scriptures talk about menstruous women and how they bring forth monsters, and a lot of times those monsters come from different men that germinated inside them, and they put them on child support, because they profiting off of that shit. And then on top of it, you got it to where how their house, the actual house that they're living in, basically Esau gives them all this government benefit because they get to kick the man out the house. And when you look at it, like, why you think it said from 1980s all the way down to like the 2000s on how, men have lost their testosterone, and the main men is talking about as millennials and Gen Z. And as we definitely best believe, Gen Z has the lowest level of testosterone as compared to men from as men that are considered as millennials, So you best believe that men before the millennial age had higher levels of testosterone, that men that mostly didn't grow up in the era of technology, like advancing. So yeah. And they consider Gen Z as this Nintendo generation, like, because they were built around the, the age of the video games, because they played so much video games, they grew up on it, things of that nature. And they have everything so easy for them, everything handed to them, They don't want to work for anything, You got it to where these little bitch ass niggas, they don't want to try to make some money, try to find a job, try to do some favors like cleaning up places or so, like doing little gigs or so, shoveling snow. That used to be a thing that children used to do back in the old days. Nowadays these little ass niggas, they don't want to do that. They want to be Kia boys. They want to do car thefts. They want to do all type of crime, stealing, to pretty much get by. That's the thing about this generation, man. And the house that these women run, is ran, by, these women that, basically have like a whole matriarchy. Sometimes they got the grandmother there, and they got the aunt or the mother's just there with, with her mother, things of that nature. And basically, you got it to where there's just no man in the house at all. And this is what Esau created, and that's what makes weak men that have multiple women trying to basically take the role of trying to be a father in the child's life. And it's not going to make the man a man. It's going to make him more of a destroyed, effeminate man, which that makes a bitch ass nigga. And that's what you have in this nation of Israel. It's a bunch of bitch ass niggas, men who may be physically strong, and sometimes they're not even all that physically strong. Sometimes these niggas nowadays, they're all fat, some of them skinny as all hell. They want to play Fortnite, they don't want to work out, they don't want to play sports, so they're too lazy. And who's to thank for that? Esau. And of course Esau's favorite partner of crime, the fucking nigga woman, which is Eve, mainly from the Southern Kingdom, talking about the black bitch. And then even other 12 tribes of our women too, because the Latino and the Native Americans, y'all are almost the same, almost just as bad as the black woman, some of y'all on average. But of course the black woman is the worst. So yeah, her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death, because scriptures say that how she is dead while she liveth in pleasure. And these women, they're all about pleasure. They don't care. Whatever is pleasing to them, to their soul, to their flesh, they're going to practice it and rehearse it, and they're going to basically be as wicked as all hell. The scriptures talk about how all wickedness is little to the wickedness of a woman. And Esau understands this, He understands when it's coming to women are wicked, especially out of all women, Israelite women. And out of all Israelite women, we talking about women from the Southern Kingdom. You know what I mean? Because they're like the leaders of the nation of Israel, the so-called black women. So Esau understands this, and he studies our people. That's why he's so heavy, dead set on destroying our people's ways. Why he think he has, celebrities amongst our people to make a famous example amongst all of the people in the world on how to be, on how wicked to be, So yeah, on setting evil, wicked trends. That's especially what Esau wants. And then around the time of the 80s and 90s and things of that nature, you had this whole fucking this culture of basically worshiping the woman, grooming the woman, like singing, making songs to the woman and all this shit, this R&B shit. That's what makes men weak. That's why a lot of men worshiping women, and eventually, but these bitches nowadays that we have, y'all don't deserve to be sung to. At least I'll say a woman back in the 80s or 90s, to some extent, yeah, they deserve to be sung to here and there, but women nowadays, you don't even deserve jack shit. You deserve to be spat on, And true say, y'all deserve to be pretty much burnt to death, as the law, for being adulterers, as all hell, and wicked, and being rebellious, Yeah, that's pretty much it on that. And like to say, call on La Yahweh Bashim Yashab Bashim Kakadash, the bonus of the apostle elsewhere millstone, peace citation to hopeful elect, Shalom.